As someone once said, pain doesn't define you, it transforms you. In this video, we'll discuss the untold story of how young Bruce Wayne transformed unimaginable tragedy into the absolute Batman of Darkseid's universe. This is the first installment in the series to unfold entirely in a flashback. Its narrative weaves together multiple timelines, offering deeper insights into the protagonist's character. One timeline captures the conclusion of a court case involving a victim and a perpetrator, both of whom will feel familiar to longtime Batman fans. Another scene depicts a young Bruce proudly presenting his school engineering project to his father. These moments are interspersed throughout Absolute Batman Issue 4, with increasingly elaborate versions as the chapter progresses. The issue opens with a furious young Bruce in court, poised to deliver a bitter message to his father's murderer, Joe Chill. We then jump forward in time to a gang of criminals intimidating local residents into paying for protection, only to face resistance. The standoff escalates when one thug cruelly pushes a resident off a rooftop. Just as the thug turns his attention to the remaining citizens, the woman he tried to kill is astonishingly pulled back onto the roof, saved by Batman in an early prototype of his suit. Batman then unleashes a relentless assault on the terrified criminals. When one thug fires at him in desperation, Batman shields himself with his cape, effortlessly deflecting the attack and snatching the gun from the perpetrator. We flash back to a young Bruce excitedly telling his father about his plan to build a bat-inspired bridge for his school's Young Engineers competition. His father questions the idea, sparking a moment of determination in Bruce. The story's structure alternates between Bruce as a child and his early experiences as Batman, showing him grappling with self-doubt over his methods in dealing with Gotham's street criminals. We see him pushing his limits, constantly striving to do more and think bigger, convinced that his efforts still fall short of tackling Gotham's rampant crime. Later, through his investigation, he uncovers the flow of illegal weapons and drugs into the city, identifying the key players controlling the checkpoints along the supply chain. As Bruce analyzes the logistics of this illicit pipeline, we find him surveilling a truck carrying contraband, tracking its path to its next drop-off point. In the following panel, Batman deploys an RC Roadster, hot on the heels of the massive 16-wheeler. The panel shifts to Batman standing boldly in the middle of the street, directly in the truck's path, as its occupants attempt to run him down. But Batman uses the RC Roadster to flip the 16-wheeler onto its side, stopping it in its tracks. Batman then brutalizes the street thugs who had plans to run him over with the truck. We cut back to Bruce explaining to his father the upgrades to his bat-inspired bridge and how it reflects the unique abilities of bats. When Bruce asks his father if he thinks the upgraded bridge is good enough to win the competition, his father replies that he doesn't know, but tells him what truly matters is whether Bruce feels it's the best he can create and whether it captures the essence of what makes a bat special. This conversation underscores the issue's central theme, the existence of an enduring, unchangeable core within every individual. At one point, Bruce's father reflects on his own dreams of becoming a surgeon after his own father's death, a path he abandoned to become a teacher after Bruce's birth, when he lacked the time and resources to pursue medical school. The story draws a parallel between Bruce and his father, showing how both shaped their lives around tragic events and helping others, even though their circumstances led to different expressions of that desire. Switching between the two timelines, the narrative highlights how Bruce's earliest lessons continue to influence his decisions and shape his worldview. The focus then shifts back to young Bruce in court, recounting the emotions he felt on the day he lost his father. He describes how the day seemed perfect, not just because he won the engineering competition or spent time with friends at the zoo, but because he saw how proud his father was of him. With tears streaming down his face, he reveals that in that moment, he felt pure happiness and wished he could stay in that feeling forever. Turning to his father's killer, Bruce declares that he doesn't care about the motives behind the act. All he wants is for Joe Chill to know how deeply he hates him. The narration skillfully intertwines the thoughts of both young and older Bruce as we see young Bruce explaining to his father that his competition project must be intimidating, versatile, and capable of charting new paths. We then cut to the older Bruce as he puts some of his prototype weapons through rigorous tests. Young Bruce unveils his project to his father, explaining that it's designed to empower people to use it however they need. He adds that it's not something reliant on external authorities to set up. The bridge is there for both support and protection. a subtle foreshadowing of Bruce's future role in Gotham. The scene transitions to an older Bruce overlooking a charity gala filled with Gotham's elite. In his narration, Bruce expresses his disdain for many of the so-called leaders present, noting that they claim to protect the people but are ultimately driven by self-interest. He vows that even though these elites believe themselves untouchable, they won't escape his reach. While surveilling the event, Bruce notices the arrival of the GCPD, forcing him to make a swift retreat. As he leaps from the rooftop of the building, his thoughts drift back to a conversation with his father about bats, how they are the only mammals capable of flight. Inspired by their defiance of nature's odds, Bruce reaffirms his belief that nothing is impossible, no matter what anyone says. In the final panel, we see Bruce confronting Joe Chill, asking him what he had tried to say in court that day, the day their lives collided over Thomas Wayne's death. Overall, Absolute Batman issue 4 stands out as a pivotal chapter, offering essential context for the series. It's a masterful deep dive into Bruce Wayne's psyche, shaped by his profound trauma and the enduring lessons of his father. Though light on action, this issue is a must-read for anyone captivated by this distinctive portrayal of the absolute Batman legend.